Construction companies, this is how you build your year in advance. So whether you're a construction company just starting out, making sure that you want to hit your goals in 2026, or you're a construction company that's been in business for quite some time, but you feel as though you've hit a level of success and every week just feels the same and you're kind of floating all over the shop, well, listen up, because I guarantee if you get to the end of this session, you're going to have 110% certainty and clarity on what you need to execute in 2026. This is building your year in advance. And the first thing that we want to start with is your professional goals. What do you want to achieve inside of your business and why? And one of them might sound a little bit simple, but a lot of people, they leave it out. And it comes down to your revenue and your profit target. And the reason why we leave this out is because we feel as though we need to shoot for the stars. We're not going to put a cap on it. We don't need to put a cap on it, but we actually need to have a finish line. We need to have a goal, a destination. And the reason why we need to make sure that we have a destination, I kind of look at it, Dill, like, you're a triathlon runner. And if you don't actually know where the finish line is, and we roll our ankle, we pull over to the side of the road, we're wasting time. It's not trackable. There's no motivation there. It's lost. So with your revenue target, I want you to get clear on that. What is it? And when it comes to your profit, how much profit do we want to make out of it? Because without a profit, revenue, it's irrelevant. The next one here is your salary. And I want to pause on this one for a second and stress the importance around it. There's a book by Robert Kiyosaki and it's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he identifies and stresses the reasons why it's so important to put yourself first inside of your company. And the reason why it's so important is because we actually set that level for ourselves and we say what's acceptable. When it comes to, I guess, our first time deal when we were scaling our businesses and actually paying ourselves last before everyone else, might have been $1,000 or $800 or whatever it may be. And then setting that standard.
And you'd settle for it, right? You pay everyone first. You look after your staff. You look after your suppliers. You pay all the invoices that are due. But then you get to the end of the week and it's like, oh, I'm only left with $1,000 and I've done all this work. But realistically, you need to ensure that you are paying yourself first because you're the one that's driving the ship. You're the one that's bringing the success inside the company. And if you are falling short after that, well, hey, it's time to work even harder. And that's how you kind of level up by making sure you are paying yourself first.
So start by setting your benchmark now. Let's not make it that $800 a week. If it's $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it may be, that's the standard for the year. And if we can't actually afford to pay ourselves that, well, guess what? We go harder. And a lot of us, we actually perform under pressure. When we put ourselves in that situation, what do? We run. So start by setting your salary for the year.
100%. And then the next things we want to look at is breaking these down into small achievable steps. So Joe, the next step is actually figuring out how much we need to earn per month in order to make sure that we are hitting our revenue target. So then when we get to December, we actually are on the money. And a big part of that is making sure that we're securing enough jobs to be able to fulfill those revenue goals each month.
That's right. Guys, the next one here is team size and our key hires. Who are we hiring and why? I think this is a common mistake when it comes to scaling a business is not identifying who you need to have in your business and when you're going to hire them, or simply, what is their job role and description? What are they going to take off you in order to free up your time to focus on higher value, dollar productive tasks?
Yeah, look, if you're looking at the amount of jobs that you need to secure each month to hit your revenue targets, you need to then look at your team. Do we actually have the manpower to complete these works, or do we need to start hiring? So by identifying, number one, how many jobs you need, that's going to give you a clear indication on, whether you've got the guys that are going to be able to help you get that work done. If you don't, well, then it allows you to set up like a hiring plan throughout the year, and we can do that each month to figure out who our next hires are going to be.
This one's a good one, and it's hours per week off the tools. How many of us go into work and we deal with the first problem that's at hand? We need to stop it. In order to scale our business in 2026, we need clear direction. We need to hold ourselves accountable as the leaders inside of the business. So I want you to identify how many hours per week, if you're currently still on the tools, or maybe you're in a position inside of your business where you're still doing slightly mundane, repetitive tasks, such as project managing the site supervising, etc. How many hours a week are we going to allocate to being off the tools? And then once we're off the tools, where are we going to upgrade our job role and description? What does it look like? What's the task that we do inside of the business to make sure that we're always consistently moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's important to note, Joe, that when you are on the tools, you are literally capped at an hourly rate. But when you're off the tools working on the business, whether it's your marketing, bringing leads into the business, or quoting or winning jobs, those tasks pay us way more than, swinging a hammer or changing a couple of light bulbs. And realistically, where we spend our time is ultimately going to dictate what happens with the business at the end of the year.
Definitely. If you suffocate yourself inside of that role, you'll never grow. So think about, where are we spending our time inside of the business right now? The next one here is your new role for the year. What's the role that you're going to upgrade yourself into, and why? It's important to identify what is the purpose of it and where is it going to get us ultimately. Because if we're focusing so much, like Dylan just mentioned, being on the tools, being on site supervising, holding everyone's hands, who actually nurtures the clients coming in? Who goes out and has a clear sales process? Who's systemizing the business and making sure that it's consistent? We're bringing in the cash all the time, and we're making sure that our team, our clients, and everyone's looked after.
100%. Look, the old saying goes, if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, you're going to continue to get the same result. So as your business grows, you also need to level up your time. And that's simply sitting down and having a look at, what are the tasks I'm doing from Monday to Friday? Okay, going through and circling the ones that make money and that actually serve the business. Anything that doesn't align with that either needs to be delegated to a current team member, or we might need to hire someone to take over some of them tasks.
The next one here, marketing strategy. A lot of us scratch our heads when it comes to marketing strategy, and what's the importance around it? Well, the importance around it is it's 2026, and if you aren't in front of the camera, if you do not have a strategy that's not duplicatable, it's not something that we can follow, well, it's just all in limbo land. So a couple of things that I would suggest looking at is your Instagram. Do you have a structure? Do you have a purpose with your content, your ads, etc.? Your website, is it up to date? Does it bring in leads, Google ads, so on and so on?
Yeah, look, when it comes to your marketing, you need to ensure, number one, you understand who your target market is. Because if you know who that is, you can then start to create a strategy or your content speaking directly to that ideal client. Because let's say, for example, you're a bathroom renovation company, but you're promoting that you do all carpentry and building work. You're not actually speaking directly to that person. Therefore, you're going to continue to get jobs you don't necessarily want. So we need to make sure we understand our target market, number one.
That's right. And falls into the next one, market position. What are you known for? Is it bathroom renovations? Is it luxury renovations? Is it electrical, aircon, etc., etc.? So what are you known for, and how can we sharpen this? Now, the next one's a good one, and it's actually a bit of a realization moment. If this was to happen, how would your life be better? What would be different? If we were to fulfill all of these goals that we have just written down, why would it be different? How would it be better?
Yeah, it's a good thing to sit down and reflect on, because most people that run a business, they've got big goals, they've got big ambitions, and they sit down and write these goals out, but they might not break it down into the granular where they actually have actionable points to take every single day. And then they look at, well, what would happen if I actually achieved these things, and where would I be? So it's awesome to reflect on all of the above.
I think it's a lot of this is in our heads, right? And I know when we start a year, and I've definitely been guilty of this myself, is where you've got a successful business that's operating at a high level, but you feel like you have the plan. We need it written down. We need to make sure that it's this consistent target that we're going in every single week in order to scale the business, in order to have purpose, in order to have motivation. And that's where it falls into the next one, our personal goals. One thing that we always put to the side. And same thing, we're probably like, oh, we might go on a holiday this year. We love surfing, or we love riding bikes, or whatever it may be. But we get halfway through the year and we've done bugger all of it.
100%. I don't know about you guys, but the whole reason I started a business, and I could speak on behalf of Joe, is to create the lifestyle that I wanted to live. to be able to live on my own terms, both financially and time-wise, and be able to go on holidays and still have a business that successfully runs, without you as the business owner there. So with that being said, Joe, let's walk through a couple of the things that the guys need to make sure they need to implement.
Holidays. When are we going on our holidays, and when are they actually scheduled into our calendar? There's one big thing that I live my life by, and it's scheduling these tasks, these things, and actually understanding what we're aiming towards. So for me personally, I like to schedule them inside Google Calendar on my iPhone. I know when they're coming up. I know when I need to push a little bit further. I know when I need to tighten the team up. Because why? Because I'm going on to a 4-week holiday over in Europe, and I need to have that made sure that it's completed before I leave. So holidays, where are you going, and when are the dates that we're going to lock in? The next one is weekends away. When are we going for these weekends away? When are we going for these date nights with the partner? Whatever it may be, it needs to be scheduled in the calendar. Otherwise, it just simply doesn't get done.
Yeah, look, book the flight. Hop on there in January, February and jump online and literally just book the flight. Accommodation can be booked later. If it's in the calendar or the flights are booked, you must be going.
Yeah. And hobbies. This is one thing that I feel as though as business owners, we always put to the side when we get busy, when there's a lot of things going on inside of the company. We just push it to the side and, when we have time, we'll do it. They need to be in there. The reason why hobbies are so important, we need, number one, something that gets us away from the business. For me personally, I love high adrenaline sports, wakeboarding, going out to the wave pool, surfing, racing my bike around Eastern Creek. So what is it for you? What is it for you that actually takes you away from the business, helps you switch off? I always say, if there was a problem inside of the business and you were to go up in a plane and jump out with a guy with a parachute, would you be focusing on that problem? Would you be consumed by that problem? Probably not. You're going to have a lot more clarity when you actually help yourself get away from the business, focus, reset, etc. So start by scheduling these hobbies into your calendar.
Yeah, look, by having this disconnect, you become present in what you're doing, in something that you enjoy. So when you come back to the business, you have a whole new perspective on everything. That problem that you're facing all of a sudden doesn't seem like a problem because you've taken yourself out of that situation, you're disconnected, you've reset, you've come back with the batteries recharged, and you're able to look at it at a different light and therefore overcome that challenge.
The next one here is investments. Why are investments so important? Well, a lot of people that know me know that I love to invest in property. And with property, we need a strategy. We need to understand what money we need to put aside in order to accumulate this property, what we're going to do with that investment, and ultimately, what are you using your business for? It needs to be something that is continuously shaping your future. So for me, investing, what are you investing in and why?
For sure. We need goalposts to aim for. Most people that want to get into property, they don't even know where to start because they don't sit down to have their conversation with a professional like their bank or a broker to figure out, number one, where does their business need to be in order to have the borrowing capacity to move into the properties. But if you have those conversations with the right people, you're able to keep moving forward.
The next one here, habits, routine, fitness and health. Why is it so important? I believe that in order to achieve the desired goals inside of your business, we need to see ourselves as an athlete. And if we have a look at an athlete, whether they're going to play the grand final, play a game on the weekend, or they're a Formula One racer ready to prepare for that race, how are they looking after themselves? Well, they're in physical and mental clarity, and they actually understand what they need to do in order to achieve the win on game day. So have a look at yourself right now. What do you do? What are your habits? Write them down. Or who's the ultimate you that you need to create? What's your fitness and health structure look like? And we need to start incorporating this into your weeks.
Look, as business owners, we face a lot of, stressful situations. Things pop up every day. It's almost inevitable, especially inside the construction industry. So if you're not waking up every day at optimum level when it comes to your health and your mindset, you're actually holding yourself and your business,
sacrificing that success
and your team from reaching your highest potential. So having a good routine, having a good fitness and health resume is vital to showing up the best you can inside your business.
one thing that we want to do is consistently break down our goals and our targets. And by doing this and breaking it down into your quarters, you'll see below Q1, what do we need to achieve? What needs to happen in order for us to achieve these goals? Q2, Q3, and Q4. So what do you need to do? I need you to simply write this down, set some targets in place, and what should unfold? What should happen?
If you know what position you need to be each quarter, it allows you to actually get back on track if you start to drift away. So if you get to the end of Q1 at the end of March and you're reflecting on what you've achieved or what you've fallen short on, it gives you a good indication on whether you need to have a sprint for 2 weeks to kind of get back on track. If you're supposed to hire another person, but you never got there, it gives you a good indication to get back on the train tracks and make sure that come December, you've achieved all these goals. And the way we do that is by blocking them into quarters.
So now that we've completed this is one of my favorite plans that I love to do. It's called a 6-week sprint. And I feel as though a lot of us, entrepreneurs, business owners, we love to set these goals that we're aiming towards with clarity, certainty. One of the things that I like to do is put these goals in place in a very short timeline. So we created a thing called the 6-week plan. Now, what is the area of focus over the next 6 weeks that you need to achieve or you need to focus on? I want you to write these down and understand what they are.
It only needs to be maybe 1 or 2 areas of your business. We're already busy enough. We're running, a team, we're running staff, we're running clients. We don't need to complicate our goals. We break them down into small, achievable steps, and then we create an action plan or point that's going to help us wake up every single day and execute with certainty to ensure once you get to the end of the 6 weeks, you have completed what you said you were going to complete.
Some of these things, they don't always have to be business orientated or business focused. They need to be your personal life as well. There might be things in areas that you're wanting to improve personally. When we get ourselves right personally, how does the business perform?
This next one's a good one, Joe.
The kryptonite.
We've all got them.
Identifying what you don't really succeed in, or what are the things that hold you back? What are the things that you self-sabotage in? Identify. Without identifying it, we don't take accountability. By identifying it, we're taking accountability and we're making sure that we're going to either minimize it or it just doesn't simply happen.
Yeah, look, it's that self-awareness, right? If you're aware of the things that hold you back or stop you achieving your goals, you can consciously make the effort to overcome them, therefore having a much higher chance of hitting your 6-week plans.
The reason why it is so important to break down your goals over the next 12 months into a 6-week plan is we actually understand what is the result of achieving this, what needs to happen, what probably holds us back 9 times out of 10, and we focus around it. So the next one here is the results of achieving it. Let's identify it. Let's put ourselves in that scenario where if we did achieve it, what would it feel like? Where would we be?
Yeah, I think it gives us great purpose, right? It gives us purpose to wake up every day and execute on our goals, because we understand in just 6 weeks' time, if we do achieve it, we know the result, and that gives us the motivation to keep going on a short time period.
So guys, that was building your year in advance. And I guarantee if you follow this step by step, you're going to have one of the most amazing years yet. If you're looking for the template, head over to the comment section and click the link below. And if you're wanting to take it that one step further and make sure that you're really setting yourself up for 2026, shoot us a message on Instagram with the words "Build Your Year" and we'll be in touch.